All right, everyone, we're actually going to forego a lecture on this. I try to go back and forth, and it just didn't necessarily make sense to talk about it. Much more important to actually look at it and play around with it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start playing around with Teams. Teams is actually a very pivotal piece of the modern collaboration architecture. So we're going to break this down into several different sections over the next couple of labs here. We're going to look at, in particular today, instant messaging and presence and how this works out overall. So there's a lot that we need to look at here, but let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to sign into the portal here again, and then we'll just use the web-based team for the time being. We will open up the thick client team, if you will, but honestly, there's really not too much of a difference between the two of these here. So let's go ahead and go to Teams. So what is Teams? Teams is it's a there's so much that it does. You know, it's a productivity tool. There's no doubt about it. But really when it comes down to it, there's so much more that it can do as well. And we'll start talking about these here. So as we open up Teams, the first place that we go, and I just want to get you a high-level overview of how this works, is we have activity. Well, of course, we can just go ahead and close out of that little wizard there. We have activity up here, which is pretty much anything that is new to us. We have chat. We have Teams. We have calendar. We have calls, files, and more. We'll get to that more here in time. But for now, we're going to be focusing on Teams chats as well as meetings for this particular discussion. So, how do chats work inside of Teams? Well, chats are very easy, and I don't think necessarily this is anything that is going to be groundbreaking to anybody here that is watching this, because chats, well, they're easy enough to have. Meetings are also quite easy to have as well, but we'll talk about the functionality of things that you can do inside of that meeting. Then in the next conversation that we're going to have here, we'll start talking about the productivity side of Teams, which is where things start getting very different. Okay, so we're going to start off with chat. So right now we have no chats. Well, we want to start a new chat. So we click the little icon up here that's create a new chat. Well, who do we want to talk to? Well, I want to talk to Geddy Lee. Hey, there's Geddy Lee. We're going to click on him. And we're going to say, hello, Geddy. Now you notice that just by looking at it right here, we see that Geddy Lee is currently offline. We can see his presence on here. And we see on mine, we have a little bit, there's a little checkbox there that's green. That means I am available. We can also change that. So if we click on our little icon up here, we will see where it says available. We can do busy, do not disturb, be right back, appear away, or appear offline. Or we can set these for a period of time. So by default, if we walk away or stop putting the focus in the Teams client here, we will go away after a period of time. If we put it on busy, it still will go to away after a while, but it takes longer. Because busy is around the idea that I am working outside of Teams and I'm working in other things, maybe a document or something. That's fine. Now, there's nothing stopping me from busy. If somebody has the busy mode on, there's nothing stopping me from messaging them. But it is just really there just to show that, hey, I'm busy working on something. If you need me, just shoot me something or just potentially email me. Then we have this do not disturb one here. This do not disturb one is actually quite interesting because there's a lot that it does, but we'll talk about that here when we start looking at kind of the chats and the calling features here. We can do be right back, which is just a simple one here, and then of course appear away. So these are pretty simple here in terms of the way that they work out. Again, I don't think there's anything major on it, but we see that Geddy Lee is currently offline. Okay, well, I have Geddy Lee opened up here in another browser. I'm going to open up his conversation, or his Teams over here. Now we will always get this here, this deep link, as you see up there, and it'll say, hey, get it for the desktop client. And that's fine. We'll get to that in time. We're not really worried about it right now, though. Okay, so as I log in here, I see I got a little blip, a little one, and I come over here to chat, and I see I have a little chat. So if I click on it, and I got a little message here that says, hello, Geddy. Now, if we come over here, we can see now Geddy is good. So he's green and he's available. Hello, Matt. So we put a message in there, looks good. Now from my perspective here, I'm going to take the focus off of it and say, how are you? See where it says stay in the notification here? We're going to actually dismiss that. So we see that we have this little icon next to it that says sent. So this one right here just says sent. Now I'm going to put the focus back inside of my Teams client. I look at it in here. Come on. Well, eventually it will get marked as read. I did read it over here on my other screen, but there, I'll do a little love sign. So I get a little desktop prompt that says that, I don't know why the notifications aren't fully showing out there. It's just probably a replication thing. We're probably waiting or pushing it way too fast. But again, so we're saying that, hey, you know, Getty's like, say, hey, how's it going? He gave a little heart reaction. Now, how do I do that? Well, it's very simple. I'll hover over the thing that I want to bring up to, and I want to put a little icon over it. Now, over on my desktop, over on my other one there, I'll get a little pop-up that says that I had a surprise reaction to it. Again, very simple things that we have going on here, but you'll notice up here in the top, in the activity feed, we get a reaction up here, and it says, and Getty essentially reacted up here. So looking at this, looking at this here, this is a simple chat that we have going on. And again, this is really nothing major here, but let's just say that maybe we want to do, we'll do a GIF. I like Giphy. Giphy's cool. You know, we'll do the old shack. I love this one here, so we'll go ahead and paste that in there. And we can have fun with these little Giphies. You know, these are cool things, and Microsoft calls this the fun stuff, where, again, we've all seen this stuff before. And, you know, hey, Getty, he laughs about it and he thinks it's hilarious. So, cool. And we can go ahead and pause that if we want to as well. And we could do a lot of stuff with these individual ones here, but we'll just kind of keep that as they are. We have stickers, you know, that's, you know, hey, it works on my machine. So these little stickers here are great. We can customize them. We can do different things. Getty can, you know, do whatever. So Getty's kind of to the point here where he's going to praise, and he's going to say, remember praise from Yammer. So praise is actually a pretty cool little thing on here where we're going to give you the badge of awesome. You are awesome. So you see on here, there's a couple of things about this. Okay, so first, we see a little @ sign. That means that I've been mentioned. It says, Matt Alloway, you are awesome, and I get the badge of awesome. So Getty just gave this to me, and you'll see that this is orange. The entire thing here is orange. That means I have been specifically mentioned. We're going to talk about that here as we jump in through this. But looking through it on here, if you look up, I can't hover over it, of course, there, where it says down to the chat there, I got the little @ sign that shows that I have specifically been you know, mentioned in it. If I come up here to the activity, Getty mentioned you. So what is that? Well, this is what Microsoft calls @mentions. So if I type the @ sign, I can @mention people. So the thing about @mentioning people is when I @mention, so I'm going to @mention Getty, and you can see that it completes his name. You are too nice. And I send it over. Now, Getty gets it over here, and this is the same concept. So I get the little blip, I get the little @ sign. I know that I've specifically been mentioned. I got a little desktop pop-up as well. So I know that I am getting that message. Cool. Now, what we want to do here is, what is the purpose of it? If I'm just sending one-on-one chats with people, do I need to @mention? Potentially, but really, at the end of the day, we're just trying to send messages to each other. These are just chats. We have the option of doing a lot, and you can see all of these icons that are down here. You know, we can do approvals, we can do some updates. There's so many different apps. We'll get to that, the apps section here. But maybe, hey, it's a delivery option, and maybe it's urgent. Okay, so hey, I really need you, my computer's broken, or I need you to do something, I don't know. But you'll get notified every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. And then if you mark it as important, over here, OMG, so it's got the little icon there. And over here on Getty's side, I got the little icon, the little urgent icon. It was over here too, but it is not. So again, looking at these things on here, this is just ways of getting people's attention. So let's explore some of the other things that we can do here. So let's just say I want to type an email or something a little bit more than just a couple, word thing here or there. So we can actually format this here. So we can do hello, hello, hello. So again, if we want to make this bold, make that strike through, maybe we want to put some highlight in it. Cool. Again, just formatting things. So we can put it in quotations. We can hyperlink it if we want, or we can add some loop components. That's what these are. These, I want to put a table. Hey, there you go. There's a table. Cool. So as you see on here, obviously that looks like a mess, but you get the idea here. We can have a little bit of creativity around these things. So at this point here, we're just mentioning people. We're talking to each other. Again, we looked at that. Now let's look at the files. So this is an important thing that I want to show you. So depending on the context, when I do files, they will actually be uploaded to my OneDrive and shared out with the person inside of the chat. So for instance, I'm going to we'll come up over here. I'm going to create a very simple document. We will go create a Word document. Okay. And you see over here I have this shared with Getty. So I'm just going to drag this and I'm going to drop it inside of here. And it yells at me because the file is empty. So let me put something in here. And put hello in there. I'm going to save it. And we're going to be good. Now, I'm going to share this with Getty. So you'll notice that it uploads it here. And it says people in this chat with the link can view. And if I drop that down there, you'll see that I can set, what do these look like? Well, these are all the OneDrive sharing links. Remember, I still can't do anyone links, but I can do people currently in this chat. So I'll go ahead and hit apply. That's cool. And then here you go. So I send that over to you. Now, Getty, on his side over here, he gets the document. And he can click on it and open it up. And you can open up inside of Teams, which has a native integration with Office Online. If I want, I can open this up in the desktop app too. But we're going to do that here because we don't want to mess with things that we currently have set up, because I'm currently signed in with my admin account and not Getty's account. But okay, here's the document on here. Okay, this all looks cool. That's fine. But where does it go? And what does it do? Well, if we come over here to Files, we will see that we have a file that says shared with Getty. Now let's come over to here, and we'll notice that we have a Microsoft Teams chat files, and we see the shared with Getty has been uploaded into it. So if we right click on it and we go to share, we can see over here that Getty Lee already is shared with. So he can edit. So you can take that document and edit it, and we're working on it together. It's important to understand how this works out, because when I am doing one-to-one chats, this is the method. I am the person sharing. It uploads to my OneDrive under that folder, and it will share it out with the person inside of this chat. So that person will have the ability to access it. If I need to get back to it, I can click on this little files option here, and I can see that. So there it is. Again, nice. Now, what else do we have up here? So we have chat. We've already seen this. We've seen files. Organization. What the heck is this? Well, this is, we don't have anything currently here because, well, we didn't set it up because it's just not really worth the time and effort. But if we have a manager field, and we're using the manager field inside of Active Directory. Remember, we talked about that already once before. But if we're using the manager field inside of Active Directory, we can actually build out your organization and see who you report to and how far dotted line you are to the top. We can see everybody that is essentially your peer, that everybody that reports to the same boss as you, and then we can go up the chain to, all the way to the top, which is very helpful because it gives you an idea of who you work with and who their manager is, so you don't have to ask them, and it's just a way of being able to get the organization around the user, inside of the company. So that's one little nice piece of it here. So we also have activity. Now, activity here has been very active in any kind of teams. So I could see activity of other things that this person has done that would be relative to me, that maybe we were together in the same team. We'll get to that in the next lab there. But if we were working on things together, I can actually see what their activity was. What did they do? Did they post some things? Did they upload some things? What did they do there? So I can see those. And then, of course, I do have this LinkedIn button on here. This allows me to view their LinkedIn. As long as they have that essentially added to it, we can do that too. Now, these are just one-to-one chats. There's also another kind of a chat called one-to-many. So we can click this little button up here where we add somebody to it. So I want to add Neil. And you'll see that it immediately comes over here and keeps our one-to-one chat, but it creates a brand new chat over here. Hello, everyone. So these are one-to-one chats, okay? Now I can come in here and, I can leave this particular chat if I don't want, or if I am inside of the chat, I can come here and I can rename it, and we'll call it Team Awesome. So there we go. I just changed the name of the team. I can see who is a member of it right now. Obviously, Neil is not on. I can leave if I want, or I can add additional people. Now, over on Getty's side, he sees very similar to the same thing here. Team Awesome looks good. Change the name of the team. We can see who's a member of it. I can add people, or I can leave if I want. So again, I can do all of those features there. This is what's referred to as a one-to-many, or a one-to-M, if you will. Where we have many different chats inside of here. I can also take this, and again, I can go directly from my OneDrive, which is nice because it's got a native integration on it. Maybe we want to do this presentation. Share it out. People who join the chat will need permission, as you can see on there. Not a problem. We can do people inside the organization with the link, or people currently in this chat. So if we were to add people later on, they would automatically inherit it if we had this one, or we can just say this is explicit right now. So we'll just do explicit. Okay, shared out the presentation, and again, let's go back to our Teams chat files. You'll notice, where the heck did it go? Here's the files. Well, this one actually gets stored in just a slightly different area. But neither here nor there, it is still around, and it is inside of our little chat here, one-to-many chat. You can still see it's part of it. If I come up here, we follow this backwards here, you can see, all right, here's the PowerPoint presentation. Again, I can edit directly inside of here too if I want. So, okay. So again, the one-to-many, those are easy chats. Those are simple. All right, now we want to do a couple of different things. So this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting with the recording aspect of it here. But what I want to do is I want to schedule a meeting. Okay, so Getty, I want to schedule a meeting with you. So we click this little button to schedule a meeting. And we're going to talk about, important talk. Important. So this looks very familiar if you did the Exchange discussion that I had on here. If you come over to Scheduling Assistant, we can see free busy available for everybody. Now again, since this is a lab environment, well, we're always free, of course. So come over to the details. Hey, what do we want to do? Add a location. We also have an option here to add a channel, which is a really cool feature here, which we'll get onto in just a minute. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to send this, because this is going to happen right now. So we're going to send there we go, sent out right now. So I scheduled an invite with him. Okay, and you just heard the little bleep there is that I got it in my email on Getty's side. So you can see over here. So I also have that. Come over here to calendar. I got it in my email, and I can certainly accept it. Yeah, I'll be there. Come over here to calendar, and you can see I'm already in it. Now, I'm actually going to join it from the Matt side here. So this is going to be interesting on how this works out with the... we are going to... we'll see. I'll probably shut it off. We'll shut that off as well. Okay, so I have it set up here where we have the speakers. I'm going to, that's fine, we'll do that, and then we'll do the microphone as, that's fine. And we'll keep that as such. So here's essentially the information. So I'm jumping into this call right now. So you can see up here at the top that we have the little meeting icon, so it means it's on. So I'm inside this meeting right now. Now, if I were to, this is another one of those fun things where I'm going to jump in from Geddy Lee, which again is going to be an interesting one. Jump into there, and we'll have audio off. Okay, so now you see here in mine, I see Geddy Lee. He is a member of my so I can do, well, lots of different things here. But I can turn on live captions if I want. I can turn off incoming video, again, if I want. I can start the recording, which I will do here in just a second. I can change background effects. I can do some of these gallery features here, which, again, I can't really do with just myself in here because I only have one device, one person, and I'm really only on one computer here, too. But what we can do here is we can take this and we can, hey, I want to share my screen. You know, I can share out the screen. Hey, maybe I want to share PowerPoint. Here's the presentation. I'm going to share that out. So this is PowerPoint. It's going to show up here in PowerPoint Live, which is quite a lot going on with this overall. So I'm going to actually stop that sharing there. But maybe I want to do Microsoft Whiteboard, or maybe if I want to do something else here, you know, I have options of doing that. So come over here, maybe I want to, hey, here we go. I am Geddy Lee here, and as you see on here, I got a little pop-up that says participant. Geddy Lee raised their hand. And I say, hey, Geddy, what do you want? And we talk about it. And then he lowers his hand. Easy there. We can also do a conversation here. Wow, how wonderful. So we can see that on both sides here. We can have this meeting chat. Again, we can upload files here. We can do our emojis, which Microsoft just came out with all these new emojis. I like this one here. So again, very simple things that we've seen there. I can see down here on the bottom we have the video. Maybe I want to pin it, and maybe that person's always up and the rest is over here. There's a lot of things that I can do here, of course. But really, at the end of the day, why do I care about this here? We've been on meetings before, but let's start talking about some of the finer grained details here. So, recording. Okay, so I am starting and kicking off the recording right now on this, and you can see here recording is pending. We're just waiting for the cloud to pick it up. And you get a little alert there that says, hey, you've started the recording. So we can see that, hey, we started this recording. Okay, cool. So we've had this call, we've had this chat, we've done our thing. I'm going to let it go for just a minute or two, and then we'll come back to it. So I can dismiss that. We have our call, we do our meeting, you know, we do our thing. Now that's fine, but what if we wanted to be maybe a little bit more detailed on here? Well, we can do meeting notes. So we're going to go ahead and take notes on this meeting here. So give me just a second here. I'm going to show meeting notes. Okay, here's notes. Wow. Clean bathroom. And then we can add stuff to it. New sections, new pieces, new whatevers we want to do with it here. All right, cool. Here's the notes. And we've added some notes. Use bleach. So we can always move that. We can add it. We can come back. We can do different things to it. So there we go. We've had the meeting. Now I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Since I am the person that created it, I'm going to go ahead and leave. Geddy Lee is also going to leave. And you'll see that over here we have this little piece right here. So this is a new chat, that new chat channel, or excuse me, not channel, chat section that opened up. So it was called important. That was the name of the meeting. So I can always come back here and I can always access this. All right, well, here's the notes. Here's the notes that we had on there. We took a couple of notes. That was easy. Maybe we did the whiteboard, but we didn't do any whiteboard there, of course. So we can go to the attendance. We can see, all right, who was in this meeting here? Okay, well, the meeting duration was 4 minutes. We can see that they joined at this time, they left at this time. Who was it? The organizer versus the presenter versus blah, 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 blah. Easy. If we uploaded any files, they would be in here as well. So this is the recording right here. Well, where is this stored? Well, let's look. Come back here. So you'll notice that we have yet another file. And we have a wiki, and it's important. What the heck is this? Well, it opens up here. This is actually the meeting here, but if we open this up in Edge, it should work. Over here. It's taking forever to load up there. So, but again, those are just the meeting notes, so we don't really care about that, though. So we also should see that we have this one here that's called Recordings. We click on it. Hey, it's the meeting recording. I can access this meeting recording here. So this is all stored inside of my OneDrive. Very important to understand. There's a big difference when I'm just having a one-on-one call here with people. I can jump back in and, hey, let's just say, oh, well, gosh, somebody else jumped in here. Let's both join, and we can both rejoin this meeting here if we want. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But we can both jump into the meeting if we need to. And this will stay here for pretty much ever until it kind of falls out the bottom. So the more, as the meetings are interacted with, or as these sections here are interacted with, they'll stay at the top, and the least interacted ones will go down to the bottom until they eventually fall off. And at that point there, it's difficult to find them. But let's just say Team Awesome, I no longer care. I don't want to know anything about Team Awesome. Well, are we getting maybe too much information on it? I can mute Team Awesome. And you can see there's a little icon now that says mute. I'm getting too many blips, too many blurbs. I'm getting way too much. Okay, well, maybe I don't want to leave Team Awesome, but I just want to hide it. So there we go. Team Awesome is now hidden. Where did it go? Well, where the heck did it go? So we have to come up here, and we have to... Nope, didn't mean to do that. Jeez Louise, come on, man. There we go. So if we see under here, oops, didn't mean to do that either. Just clicking all over the place. We will see under here is that is completely gone and hidden. Well, it's not. You actually have to do a little bit of jumping around to find that one, but it can certainly be brought back. So if I were to message back in that team, awesome, oh, it came back. It's no longer hidden. And you can see, hey, here's the hidden chat history. So I can do lots of different things. Hey, maybe I want to, this is somebody I talk with very frequently. So I'm going to, oops, didn't mean to do that. I am going to pin. So you can see here's a pin. Now, a couple of things here is if I wanted to. So Getty Lee can just do a simple call. So I can come over here and he sees that, okay, well, we're both in a meeting right now, but I'm going to give you an audio call. Let's see how this is going to work over here. Getty Lee is calling, and you can see over here that, you know, we've had the conversation. I'm going to ignore, because there's a lot of cacophony of stuff going on right now. But you will see in here that Getty just called me. So if we come up under here, under calls, we'll see that, oh, we had an incoming call here. Okay, well, I'll come back to that. So I can call. Now, you'll notice here is that if I go busy, and I go do not disturb, and then Getty calls me. I'm not getting any pop-ups. I'm not getting anything. It's just basically ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. So as it says up here, your status set to do not disturb. You'll only get notifications for urgent messages and from your priority contacts. But you'll notice on here that I do get a little blip that said, hey, we had a missed call. But that's it. I didn't get any active call. I was focusing. When I come back into my Teams client, I would see that I had a little activity on there. That's fine. Now I can come over here to change settings, and I can, well, I can get a little bit interesting with this here too. So we can do manage priority access. So when I'm on do not disturb, I can have Getty come in here. And then we see, okay, or not. Try that again. I don't know why that keeps falling off there. Let's try it again here. Settings. Priority access. G Lee. Back to settings. There we go. No, he's stuck this time. Okay. So what happens now is that when I'm on do not disturb, as you can see, and Getty were to call me, which Getty is calling now. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to ignore it. So we see now that Getty does get through. And I just declined that there. But Getty does get through here even when I am on do not disturb. So I can have a little bit of a priority incident there. So overall, these are very important pieces here when we have these. These are just calls and meetings. These are really, I would say most of them are pretty straightforward when it comes down to it, but there's more to it, of course. But again, for the most part here, we can just kind of do calls. If we wanted to have a one-to-many call, we can just do this here, and it would call all 3 people, or however many people are in this one here. We can do that too. So we can change our presence here to whatever we want. Now, again, overall, that's pretty much the main pieces of this here. I'm not going to go over the administration side. That's actually a whole lecture that I'm going to do here after we talk about productivity. We're going to talk about apps and how we can secure the Teams platform too. But what we're going to do here is one last piece of, we can do something called Federation Chat. So Federation Chat is different than Teams and guest settings. So Federation Chat in here is I can come in here and I can say, hey, I want to chat with, here's my lab environment. So I'm going to search externally. And I'm not set up to talk to each other. I don't accept everybody. I only have a whitelist there. But let's just say that we did. I can open up a conversation and do a quick chat with you, and boom, bingo, bango, bongo, we can chat with each other. Even though we're not in the same tenant, we're in external tenants, we can talk with each other. We'll talk about the settings on that here when it comes to the security side of Teams there. We'll talk about that in time, but right now we are not able to talk to each other because we are certainly set up. As such, where my tenant, my lab tenant here, I do not allow that. So, okay, that is the end of this particular discussion. We're going to talk much more about the apps or the productivity side of things, and that's around this little guy right here, this Teams piece, as well as some of the other pieces along with it. That is it for this particular discussion here. We are going to move into the productivity side here, but thank you for jumping on this one here, and I'll see you over on the next.